because our school system was set up to produce mindless, obedient workers essentially by fascists at the end of the 1800s. And that's well documented historically.
This is a topic that I'm extremely passionate about. And in this video, Jordan Peterson drops some absolute truth bombs on Dave Ramsey about the nature of our education system. It's something that everybody needs to hear and know. So with that, let's get into the clips.
Talk about what you've discovered around the correlation between just a mental stability, a mental maturity, mental health maturity, and that how that correlates to wealth.
Well, it's easy to presume that the reason people are poor is because they don't have enough money. But that's an oversimplification. Very few complex things are attributable to a single cause. I had lots of clients who were much better off when they had no money at all. Those were often people who had addiction problems, because as soon as they had any money at all, they're just in the bar and into the cocaine until they were face down in a ditch. And so there's all sorts of causes of poverty, and certainly one form of poverty and one cause of poverty is absence of a plan. I mean, you need to develop a vision for your life, and that makes delaying gratification, for example, and not engaging in impulsive momentary pleasure worthwhile, because you're building towards something that you actually want to attain. And we're very, very bad in our society, like appallingly and miraculously bad at helping people develop a vision. We don't do it with students in school, for example, not at all. And it's really, like I said, it's a miracle of stupidity. So it truly is. It's the number one thing we should be teaching people, and we don't do it at all. Who do you want to be and why? What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? What are you building towards? Why are you gratification, assuming you are? Why are you saving, for example? Or working? Like, what's your vision? What makes it worthwhile? And how do you even come up with a notion like that?
If you're enjoying this video, guys, don't forget to help me out with a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on all those notification bells so that you never miss a thing. Back to the clips.
And the strange thing is when you have a vision that's very, very clear and high definition, burnout just kind of goes away. You get tired. Like, your schedule has been horrendous, but you're not burnt out. You're probably tired, but you're not burnt out.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, all the positive emotion we feel, that except for the type that is just a consequence of basic satisfaction, the sort of satisfaction you might have after a big meal, all the enthusiasm and excitement and hope and curiosity, essential meaning in life, all of that is experienced in relationship to a goal. When you see yourself moving towards a goal, then you're inspired. You have hope, you have enthusiasm, you have energy. You can communicate effectively and enthusiastically. No goal, you have none of that. No vision, no goal. So you're not going to get tired and feel, what would you say, hard done by, if your sacrifices and the difficult things that you're endeavoring to do are clearly worthwhile by your own definition.
What Jordan Peterson just said is a crucial aspect as to why he is so influential and why he is such a force for good, because he can help a lost misfit like me form a vision. And shortly we're going to get into the more explosive revelations that JP said in this video, but I wanted to quickly touch on the idea of vision. It's funny how this video came into my view this week, because I've been thinking a lot about the notion of vision and about manifesting visions, which I know sounds extremely cheesy and woo-woo, but relax, I'm not going to start belly dancing or doing fire spinning rituals on a beach in India. But I was speaking to my mum on the phone this week, and I was telling her how I've surprised myself over the years with how I'm able to envision a goal or an ambition and put it into place almost exactly how I pictured it in my head, which she understood because I'm exactly like her. And then I came across this video and it kind of clicked with me. We don't get taught how to develop a vision for our lives and how to truly find what it is that we are good at and what makes you unique, or about financial literacy and becoming financially independent for that matter. And JP is about to expose exactly why that is, and I'm going to break it down. But what I hope that you can get from this video is to actually have a good hard think about your vision. Like, actually take 15 minutes, close your eyes and vividly imagine where you could be if you put the right steps in place. Think about how much better things could be and then write down a vision, whether it be a vision for today, for tomorrow, for a week's time, a year's time, 10 years' time. Do you want to be able to run 5 kilometers, mend a relationship that's been weighing on your mind, get a promotion, start a business, start a YouTube channel? And whatever that is, if you want to hold yourself accountable and if you want to put that out into the world, then feel free to leave a comment and tell me exactly what your vision is, because I genuinely love reading this sort of stuff. On to the next bit.
Here's the game. Imagine you were taking care of yourself like someone you cared for. So imagine someone you care for and pretend that's you. Maybe it's a son or a daughter or a friend. Now imagine 5 years down the road. You can have what you want and need. You can be who you are, but you have to figure out what it is. What is it? What do you want? What do you need? And don't worry about getting it right. Just get it down for 15 minutes. That's a good start. The whole exercise you can do in about 90 minutes, but we had students do that, say, before they went to university. And just doing it for 90 minutes, developing that vision, dropped their dropout rate 90 or 50%, and increased their grade point average 35%. And that just shows you how badly it had been done before, because students went to university with no vision. They had no idea what they were doing there. And so, of course, half of them didn't succeed because they had no idea why they were doing anything. Well, that's not helpful or wise. And the reason that's the case, by the way, is because our school system was set up to produce mindless, obedient workers essentially by fascists at the end of the 1800s. And that's well documented historically. It was based on the Prussian military model, and they wanted to produce obedient soldiers. And we haven't updated our notion of what schools are for 140 years.
Yeah. Ken Coleman says we've not made pathfinders, we've made test takers.
If that, we're not even very good at that.
So first of all, JP is way more based than we even know, especially the way he goes after things that normally people stay away from in fear of being called a conspiracy theorist, namely the WEF, the climate cult, and our education system. But the way he goes about it is that he communicates his message in a more poised and tactful way. This way, he's able to command the respect and the attention of a far greater pool of people. So the education system that we are so used to, and that's pretty much just a part of everyday life now, is not created to inspire creativity or individuality or produce great works of art. It's created, as Jordan Peterson so accurately put, to create mindless, obedient workers. And speaking of great works of art, one of my favorite movies of all time is Dead Poets Society. This is a deeply meaningful and substantive movie where the teacher, John Keating, encourages the students to pursue their dreams or seize the day, carpe diem.
You take a big risk by encouraging them to become artists, John. When they realize that they're not Rembrandts, Shakespeare's, or Mozart's, they'll hate you for it.
We're not talking artists, George. We're talking free thinkers.
Free thinkers at 17.
Funny, I never pegged you as a cynic.
Not a cynic. A realist. Show me the heart unfettered by foolish dreams, and I'll show you a happy man.
But only in their dreams can men be truly free. 'Twas always thus, and always thus will be.
Tennyson?
No, Keating.
And I would have loved to have had a teacher like John Keating, but unfortunately, this is far from the reality. So, Peterson mentioned the Prussian schooling system. After they invaded Poland in the late 1700s, the Prussians needed a way to condition the Polish people into a new form of patriotism. And they knew that they weren't going to achieve this through the adults because they were all proud Polish people. So, instead, they targeted the children. They taught them to be obedient and they fed them patriotism propaganda for their 8 years at school. They figured that they could achieve their goals in just one generation by molding these young minds. And a quote by Johann Gottlieb Fichte is as follows: "Education should aim at destroying free will so that, after pupils have left school, they shall be incapable throughout the rest of their lives of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. Does that sound a little bit familiar in terms of what we are seeing today in our education system? In particular, the public school system? Well, like Jordan Peterson also said, it's well-documented history that the US imported this education model from Prussia, which was spearheaded by a politician named Horace Mann. Taxpayer-funded schools in the Prussian style started to pop up all around the country in the 1800s. And by the time the 1900s rolled around, public schools were made mandatory in almost every state in the US. Basically, it's a system whereby you hand over your children to the state so that they can mold them into whatever they want them to be. Whether that be proud patriots, good factory workers, obedient office workers, or good cultural revolutionaries. And I could go on all day about this, but like always, guys, if you want to catch me on any of my social medias or follow my other channels, which are up and running now, then hit the links in the bio and at the top of the comments. And if you guys want to watch another video, click right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is Rattlesnake TV, keeping you armed and dangerous.